Hey, thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to show you step by step how to turn these wooden offcuts, which you'd probably just normally chuck in the bin. No, we're going to turn them into a cool little character, and the character that I'm doing is Stuart the Minion, and you can see that I've made him go right out to the edges, and I've also thought about him from every single angle.
Once you've got your wood, you can collect it from building sites or your dad's projects or anywhere, even at school from the woodwork room. The first step you've got to do is you've got to seal it or prime it. You can see here I'm using a spray can. A spray primer is one option. Another option is to paint it on. Once you've sprayed or sealed your wood, because it's porous, it will soak in the paint like a sponge, so you may need to do a couple of layers. Once the primer is dry, you can then start to draw on your design. You could plan it first on paper, so trace around the block and do some drawings, and like my art students did. Now check out some of their awesome little block characters at the end of this video. You can see here I'm just drawing on the Minion's main details, and I'll speed that up. And you've got to think about it from each side. So think about your character in what we call in the round from every angle. So we have the front, the back, there's two sides, and even the top. You can think about how it would look. Now I'm drawing the Minion's front on here. Once I've finished mapping it all on, it's ready for the next step. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Now it's time for some color. I've recently got these really big 7M Poscas, which are great for coloring in big areas. I've also got some 5Ms, 3Ms, and 1Ms, and that just means how thick they are. Like the M stands for millimeters. You color in a base layer for each of your areas, and then you'd add all the details afterwards. Now remember, if you're using paint, you've got to use some smaller brushes, but if you're using paint pens, it's like paint, so you've got to make sure you don't smudge it and get it everywhere, and you've got to be careful. Now I've got my block sitting the right way. You can turn your block around at any time you need to. Now you can speed up the drying with a hairdryer. In all of my painting classes, I have a number of hairdryers that students can use so they can speed it up, the drying process. And the beauty about these Posca pens, they come in lots of different colors and lots of different sizes, as I said before. You can work on one side at a time, dry it, and then keep going. You can also paint base colors on here like I am with the brush, just to get any base colors on. And you can see I'm using a flat brush to paint nice and flat areas. Now, I have all my base layers of the Minion done. Now it's time for refining. The details and outline will make your character look amazing. So this is where you put outlines on, texture on, highlights, darker areas, etc., etc. As you can see here, I'm adding some shadows in with orange being a darker color than yellow, just for a few little shadows to give it that 3D appearance. You can still see that I need some more refining on the eyes, but I've got some details on the overalls with the seam lines, etc. Make sure you put all the details on all the sides. When you've finished and you're happy with your wooden block, it's time to let it dry and give it a spray varnish or a paint varnish, and then you're done, ready to display. These other ones here are examples from my after school young class, and they did some dogs, some other animals, and of course they did the Harry Potter characters and some of their own designs as well. The following artworks that you see right now are done during a Christmas party for a kindergarten staff, and they all had to draw a self-portrait of themselves on a wooden block. Such a great time, and they did an awesome job. So you can see how cool it is to turn a piece of wood that you'd probably chuck in the bin into an artwork, and you could create a really cool collection of these characters. I'd love to see what you create, so send it through to my email address. I'd really love to see it.